breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty. Mornings on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
.1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Mike and McCarty on this Monday after the Saints-Cowboys game. Mike was at the game, so he is taking today off. He will be back with us tomorrow. He's going to join us, be back for his regular job. He's not one of those Cowboys fans calling in sick. No, he is enjoying his time with his daughter and celebrating his birthday. John Settle is joining us this morning. He's going to guest host, and we have a special guest who is just arriving in the building, Caddo Parish Sheriff Henry Whitehorn. He has been sheriff since July 1, and he is in deep finding out what's going on down there, what are the priorities, etc. And he is just walking in the building. I can't thank you enough for being here.
Thank you. Good to be here with you.
Okay. Pull that mic real close to you.
All
and
right. Can you hear me better?
Yes, that's good. And I do want to tell you, John Settle is filling in for Mike because Mike is celebrating the Cowboys-Saints game. He was in Dallas and was a Saints fan and celebrated his birthday. Now, Saints-Cowboys for you?
I'm a Saints fan.
Okay, you can stay.
Okay. Good.
All right. Were you at the game?
I watched part of it.
Okay.
I was busy yesterday.
Pretty exciting. It was pretty exciting. Let's start off with you, Sheriff Whitehorn, with the millage that I have been told, and you have put out some information that you are planning to roll the millage forward, which would bring in a little more money for your department. Explain the decision to do that, why you think we need to do that.
Well, we've already voted to roll it forward, so that's done. We did it because it was a necessary thing to do. It was the right thing to do. One of the things that I learned when I took over in looking at the budget was the fact that our expenses were not keeping up with our revenue. And when you look at the overall budget for the Caddo Parish Sheriff's Office, it's not a very large budget. $77 million is not a lot of money considering the budgets that I've been working with in the past. And to know that we're not keeping up with those, the revenue is not keeping up. And you look at some of the other departments that are also looking at rolling forward. Bossier just rolled forward, Bossier Sheriff's Office. You have the commission coming up on their vote. You've got the Port Commission coming up with the vote. So it's not just the Sheriff's Office. Everybody's looking at the expenses. Things have increased over the years.
How much does it bring in for the Sheriff's Office rolling
About
it forward?
$1.2 million.
Okay, and you will be using it specifically for?
To maintain operations mainly, and hopefully be able to provide some sort of pay raise for our employees, similar to what Bossier did.
There has been some discussion about, John Settle is here, I'm sorry, the surplus that the Sheriff's Office has. Why do we roll the millage forward if we have a surplus? I want you to address that.
We have a fund balance. When you talk about surplus, a lot of people believe that we have a large surplus. You have to understand the way the Sheriff's Office budget is, and I'm learning this myself as I go forward, is there's a certain amount that we collect at the end of the year on taxes. That money has to take us throughout the year. And so when people look at it and say, well, you got this much money, you should be able to operate, well, we're spending that money as well. And we do have some money in investments through LAMP and in Regions Bank to try to help earn some interest, but we're spending that money. And another thing, I was looking at opening up that was work release, now it's transitional work program. And I go and I look at that facility, and I'm thinking I could put 200 inmates in there right away. Can't do it. It's going to cost me almost $500,000 just to get that building back up in operation.
It's run down.
It's run down. Equipment's been taken out of it. Walls have been removed. It's been used as a warehouse. The bunk beds have been stripped out. I don't know where some of them are at. Mm-hmm. So we got work that we have to do and take money to do it. The cost for inmates, the meals even. The commission gives us $3.50 a day. The average cost for a meal is over $4.20. So we not keeping up with our expenses, and so it's necessary. Everything
were you a little
necessary.
hesitant, in your first 90 days to essentially raise taxes? I mean, you have to think.
I was. I'm a conservative guy too, but I have to look at running that operation, providing the safety and the services that the community have asked me for, and that they deserve to have. And so we have to do things a little differently to make sure that we're taking care of that. And, I ran on a platform of crime prevention, building programs for our youth to keep them out of trouble. And it takes money to do what I've said I was going to do.
I saw a piece where you were talking about the fund balance. I'll use your words because that's probably more accurate. That it really was for unfunded vacant positions. Than much of that money.
Of it.
So you're going to fill them all then, right?
I'm going to do my best. How
many are we short? How many deputies do you need as we sit here today?
I've got over 100 vacant positions throughout the sheriff's office. That's administrative deputies and criminal deputies and correction deputies.
Wow.
And so we're doing all we can. We've got a robust recruiting plan that we're pushing out here shortly. And so, it's sad that in this area we have to cannibalize other departments, so to speak. Everybody is fishing in the same pond to try to get these employees that we all need. And so we're trying to reach out and do some unique things. I should be rolling that plan out very soon to try to reach some of these universities that has criminal justice programs. I'm hoping that the Explore program that we bring in will help create a pool long term where we have qualified applicants readily available.
What's your minimum age at the sheriff's department now?
It's 21.
Okay, so
18 for administrative.
Okay, so you can't have an 18-year-old who wants to go to the academy at this point.
I've changed that. No.
Okay.
We was having some problems with that, and it's kind of difficult to put in my mind an 18-year-old in an environment with those hardened criminals and expect them to succeed until we prepare them.
Sheriff Henry Whitehorn, can you stay with us? I want to talk about when you opened the door to the jail to let all the inmates out. Can we talk about that when we come back?
Do we have to?
That's coming up right here, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Now more breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
And welcome back. Caddo Parish Sheriff Henry Whitehorn is in studio with us. John Settle filling in for Mike Martindale, who's celebrating the Saints win. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, I'm enjoying it. I'm glad we had the sheriff. He's done so many positive things in 75 days. I've got a long list.
Yeah, we got a lot to get to. I want to first get the jail overcrowding problem discussed. There was a backlog in the jail. There's still a backlog in the jail. Lots of problems with the court system clogging it up. Lots of problems, too, with state inmates being housed there. What are you doing? What's been happening? You have not opened the doors and let people out, have you?
No, ma'am.
And that's not going to happen?
That was never the plan.
Okay, so where are we on overcrowding?
So we're working with the district attorney's office. We're working with the judges. We're working with DOC. Trying to figure out a solution. We're working with the Criminal Justice Committee, Tim Magner and his group, trying to figure out a solution. One of the things that we learned was the backlog was due to some digital evidence and being able to timely get that digital evidence to the courts. Without the evidence, they can't process discovery. They can't get the inmates into a trial. And so we're working with SPD, we're working with our folks, trying to make sure that we have a good process in place to make sure that the indigent defenders, the defense counsel, and everybody else receives that digital evidence timely. That's the main backlog. And I think that's about a 10-month backlog in itself. DOC, we're working with them. They've been able to take prisoners as they get processed and transfer them into another facility.
Can you say no to the state? No, I'm not going to house your inmates.
Yes, I could.
You can?
Yes.
But then they would release them into our community? Is that essentially kind of what would happen?
No, they'd find another facility to put them in.
Is that something you've thought about?
It's something I've thought about, but I've also thought about opening my work release program, that transition to work facility, that should be able to hold about 200 inmates, and it's going to take roughly $500,000.
How long before you'll have that up and going?
Like I said, it's going to take about $500,000 to get that facility back in shape, and also finding a place for the nonprofit to house their equipment that they have in there right now. But we're working on it. I'm hoping within the next year to have that up and running. We're also hoping that within the next year, all the software and hardware, digital equipment will be in place to reduce that digital evidence backlog. We're optimistic that this thing is really working. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's going to take us some time, but we're working toward that.
Another issue is you're having to house juveniles, aren't you? And that's
yes, sir.
That's taking up space.
It's taking up some space, not that much, but we're working with the juvenile courts and housing those individuals that need to be housed out at CCC.
There's been some criticism of you most recently for what I'm going to describe as a confidentiality letter. You're asking your deputies and I guess all employees to sign. I
signed it myself.
Why is that necessary? Why are you requiring that?
That's a business practice, and it's been done in the past. A lot of folks are looking at Henry Whitehorn. This is not about Henry Whitehorn. This is about us taking care of business. We've had some information that has gotten out, including some victim information that shouldn't have been released. There's a process in place for public records. And so we want to just make sure our process is followed. We've got sensitive information through NCIC and other avenues that should not be released. And it's just a reminder to our employees that there's a process, follow the process, and let us take care of the requests that come in.
Was that required under Prater? They just didn't do it? They just weren't following up on it, I guess?
I'm not sure if they weren't following up on it, but I know that there was a a confidentiality agreement that was signed under that administration as well. And it's a business practice,
What about a whistleblower who wants to get out information because they're being harassed at work or something wrong's going on, theft is going on, inside? There's still an avenue for that as well.
That can still happen, yes, ma'am. This is not about trying to withhold information of wrongdoing. This is about taking care of our processes and business practices.
You've been on the job almost 90 days now, right? Getting close.
75, I believe.
Okay.
75. I did my math.
What has been the biggest surprise that you have run into?
It's my watch now. And so there's some things that we're taking care of. And, it's not my place to start talking about some of the things that should have been or could have been. We're taking care of business, and we're protecting the public, and we're going to continue to do what needs to be done to ensure that public safety is taken care of in Caddo Parish.
We talked about, John brought up juvenile beds. That is a long-standing problem in our community for finding more bed space for juveniles. Are you working with the parish commission? Are we working on another plan for more bed space for juveniles?
At this point, I'm not looking at additional bed space. There's bed space available if we want to house juveniles. Jackson Parish and other places have juvenile facilities that's available if we need them. Our goal is to stop the flow into our correctional facility.
Intervening with the kids when they're little, younger.
Before they get to a point of we have to incarcerate them.
What kind of programs are you working on with regard to that?
It's sad when we see 11-year-olds having to go to jail because they did something stupid, And so we've got to be able to work with our kids, work with the parents to ensure that these kids understand the consequences of their decisions. When you and I were coming up, and I'm a little older than probably both of y'all.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Not me, I don't think.
But we could do dumb stuff, and the consequences weren't that great. Consequences have changed. And so we have to make sure that our kids understand that there are certain things that they shouldn't do and can't do. Education is the key. And so that's why I had a goal to put an SRO in every high school in Caddo Parish. We've accomplished that goal. I do want to continue moving through our middle schools and other schools. I had some requests. I had a request just last week from a private school that wants an SRO. And so we're working to make sure that we've got avenues to help our children. Some of the programs I want to do is an Explore Post, a police Explore Post program. I went through that program at a young age in St. Louis, Missouri. And I think it had it helped me develop into the man that I am today. And so I want to do some of that unique program here in Caddo Parish as well.
Sheriff Henry Whitehorn, thanks for coming in. We'll do it again soon, I hope.
Soon.
Okay.
All right.
You heard it. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Big stories of the day with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Very exciting news about the Sears location in St. Vincent Mall. LSU Health taking over. Find out more next. 101.7 FM, 710KEEL.com.
Back with more of Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
We have a really wonderful guest joining us right now on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline, Dr. David Guzik. Am I saying that right, Doc?
That's close. That's good.
Okay. You are a Chancellor, LSU Health, and I'm hearing this incredible news that you guys are actually going to take over the old Sears building at Mall St. Vincent for a medical facility. Explain the plan.
Yeah, the plan is to revitalize the mall and take care of some patients and do some research.
What kind of hospital will this be? What kind of medical facility will it be?
It mainly was motivated by the fact that we're running out of research space, but we also need clinical space as well. So essentially, we've been recruiting faculty for our laboratories, but we have one laboratory research building that we project will be running out of space in a year and a half, 2 years. And the prospect of having a state building in that time frame, basically the probability is pretty minimal. So we needed to look for other options, and there was the Sears sitting there.
Well, that's a great use of that facility because it's been sitting there so long. Are you going to leave the escalators there?
Yeah, that's a great question. We asked that ourselves. I guess that's up to the architects, But I'd love to leave if they're working, or I'd love to leave the escalators there and have the researchers kind of go from floor to floor. Good collaboration.
How much money is this going to cost? Where is it coming from? And how much work do you have to do on the building?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we were looking at a 50,000 square foot research building, and to build it from scratch, we were getting estimates that would cost $100 million. It's a very big project. This building is 160,000 square feet, and it's being purchased by our foundation, the LSU Health Shreveport Foundation.
How much?
Which is $3.5 million for the whole thing. Now, I should mention the LSU Health Foundation, the nice thing about that from the standpoint of getting it done quickly is that it is a private entity, and although it's total mission, its sole mission, is to serve LSU Health Shreveport, our campus. Because it's a private entity, it can be more nimble in the marketplace. So basically, with funds that have been donated by individuals in this community to support LSU Health Shreveport, the building was purchased at a very low price. You can do the math. It's about $1 a square foot. And it comes with 800 parking spots. And there's also a number of the retail outlets in the mall that's close to the entrance is included as well. So the just to get the shell is pretty amazing. And just to explain a little bit, modern labs are research benches, one after the other after the other. They're not enclosed by four walls, so that researchers can collaborate, and then you can expand or contract a given lab, by adding or subtracting benches as the grants come in, or basically, end. And so, what is an empty department store? It's nothing but wide open space, and you can just basically design those labs to go right in there without having to do a lot of interior design work. So basically, to build it out, it's probably for the lab part $500 or $600 a square foot. We'll build out probably initially about 50,000 square feet, and then on the clinical side, which you asked about initially, those will be outpatient facilities, not a hospital. We're looking at the possibility, this isn't written in stone, the possibility of orthopedic, sports medicine and rehab, possibility of ophthalmology, possibility of cardiology, and so on. So it'll partly, the part that's facing the mall, in other words, the part that's interior as you walk down that kind of hallway between the Dillard's and the Sears, that entry point will be the clinical part. And then if you go to the Southern Avenue side of the building, that entrance will be to the laboratory part, which will be most of it.
Well, how soon do you expect to have any researchers in that facility?
Well, it takes a while to build this kind of building. It would take many years more if we had to go through the state. But this way, we're going to put it up for bid to the architects to try to get architects that capture, what we're looking for in terms of a modern facility, both for the lab and clinical. Within a month or two. And then once we name an architect, I think it probably will take them 6 months or so to do the design, maybe a little longer, and then construction. So I would say it'll be about a 2-year process.
And do you have all the funding, or does the foundation have all the funding for the build-out that is needed for the clinics and for the research facility?
Yeah, that's a great question. When health, like hospitals, build a building, they typically don't use cash. They typically sell bonds and then pay the bonds back. And we're sort of doing a similar thing. The foundation, through conduit financing in the state, will be issuing bonds for whatever the cost is. Let's say the total initially is $50 or $60 million. And then the foundation will lease it to the medical school for the researchers and will lease it to our Oxnard LSU Health System partnership for the clinical space. So it's basically a bonded facility with collateral from the foundation, and then we'll simply pay back the foundation across time.
Let me ask you this, and we're talking with LSU Health Chancellor Dr. David Guzik. When we first started talking to you, you used the term revitalize the mall. Do you think that this project could actually entice other entities to come into that mall? Is that part of the hope?
We're hoping so. We had the mayor at our press conference, and that's what he expressed. And I think it would, because we would have, kind of a building buzzing with people, and they need to have a coffee shop and some other shops, and we're hoping that it would revitalize the mall. One of the things an academic health center does in communities is it can serve as an economic engine. The one closest to Shreveport that is a prime example of how it revitalized an entire community, not just a mall, is UAB in Birmingham. I'm going back a few decades, but Birmingham was a lot like Shreveport. There really isn't another academic health center if you look for a couple hundred miles around Birmingham. We have the same situation here, and so we're hoping that this could be the start of that process.
How many new jobs do you foresee this creates? Everything's up and going, say within 2 years or so?
Yeah, it would be hundreds and hundreds of jobs. Each researcher comes with a staff.
Wow.
And the clinicians, as clinical practice grows, they hire staff. In one case, it's sort of a technical scientific staff. In another case, it's a clinical staff. Many of those people, most of the researchers will be from outside of Louisiana, probably. And so they're bringing in families, and their staff have families, and so on. So it would. I can't say exactly, but it would be in the hundreds.
So it's not moving people from the existing facility into this facility for the most part.
Oh no. Again, what you correctly asked about the financing is if all we were doing is moving things from A to B without it being incremental, then we really couldn't pay for it. The payment for the clinical facility has to come from incremental clinical dollars. Payment for the research facility is from incremental research dollars. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we are running out of research space. We do plan to recruit significantly more researchers, so they will all be incremental.
How many students or residents of doctors in training do you have at the LSU Health Science Center or the medical school?
Yeah, that's a great question. Medical school is about 150 a year, so that's 600. We have a graduate school of another 100, and a School of Allied Health, several hundred more. So there's well over 1,000 students, and residents. We have about 600 residents. So when you add it all up, there's a lot of teaching of the next generation of scientists and healthcare providers here.
Dr. David Guzik, LSU Health Chancellor. Thanks for your time, sir. I know you're busy.
Oh, it's my privilege. Thank you.
All right,
you bet.
Thank you much.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Okay, he's back. He's giddy. He's happy. He can't talk.
I can't talk. You should have heard me yesterday. Today, this is, at least I have some semblance.
Birthday belated. You had a blast,
gosh. Aaron, I went into it. My daughter, for those that don't know, got me tickets to the Saints game on Sunday in Dallas. We wore our Saints jerseys. I posted a picture on Facebook.
You had your Saints sneakers on.
I did. Head to toe.
How soon did you know we got this? Pretty quick, I'm watching it.
Years and years of experiences told me unless you're up 30 points and there's 2 minutes left in the game.
Be careful, yeah.
Yeah. I never gloated during the whole time. First of all, you're in their house. Be respectful.
Yeah. So you weren't ragging on them?
No, really wasn't.
Oh, wow.
Now, I was in a row where there were some guys that were.
Now, did they rag on you when you showed up in your Saints gear?
No, they really didn't.
That's good.
There was a lot of black and gold in that stadium, Aaron.
Good.
A lot. I was kind of going, should I wear the Saints jersey in,
of course,
being antagonistic? But I thought, no, we're going to. And,
yeah.
No, everybody was very respectful.
Help me
for the
with
most
something.
part.
The Saints offense looks like they're unstoppable.
That
or was the
amazing.
Dallas defense just that shoddy?
But see, last week, Saints looked great. And they go, well, were the Saints that good or was Carolina that bad? Well, Carolina is that bad.
But our offense looks so strong.
But then this week, this past weekend, you're going, okay, maybe there is some cause to be a little bit optimistic about the 2024 Saints.
Looked powerful. They looked so powerful. You couldn't
and their
stop
defense.
Yep.
Dallas couldn't make a first down for crying out loud. I mean, they did, but it was nothing but field goals.
So how's that
with the
high dollar
exception of that
quarterback?
one-
Did he earn his keep this weekend?
I actually came home and watched the game later. Dak himself statistically had a good game.
Okay.
At least a good first half. Mm-hmm. I was surprised. He statistically, but then you have to go, but can he lead the team? Is he, I felt bad for him.
When did the Cowboys fans start filing out?
They actually started filing out midway through the third quarter.
Really?
Yeah.
And Saints fans are waving bye to him, I'm sure.
In our section, we got tickets in the quote visitors section because multi-levels in our sections were a lot of black and gold.
Okay.
And there was a lot of da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, hey, goodbye.
Oh, man.
It was a whole section singing that as Cowboys fans were filing out.
Gosh.
I wanted us to win, but we went in with the attitude, you know what, we're just enjoying the whole experience. If we get our butt kicked, we're going to go, yeah, y'all did a great, you know what I mean? We're just going to have a great time. That was just lagniappe. That was just gravy on the roast beef, man.
A butt spanking. I mean, it really was a butt spanking. In the grand scheme of things.
It was reminiscent of the last Cowboys-Saints game I was at in the Dome when Drew Brees tore them up.
Mm-hmm. And they don't play for 2 years, so we get to gloat for 2 years. And, somebody...
And it was so unsuspected by everybody. Nobody thought this was coming.
Absolutely. It's a big win. Saints needed it.
Shreveport Police Headquarters in dire need of some revamping. Grayson Butcher will join us next hour. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty. On 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty. Yes, I am back, but you should have heard me yesterday.
I bet you couldn't even talk.
I couldn't talk, hardly.
I bet.
And it was an incredible weekend. I didn't get to go over there until Saturday evening, so basically I just had Sunday with my daughter.
Did you get to watch the LSU game? Was that horrific or what?
Yes, because between the two remotes that I had, I did watch that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that was pretty
not
hideous.
good.
We eked out of that one.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. And the Saints were just awesome. So I'm glad you had a blast.
It was better than, my best friend and I went to the Saints game years ago, and I wish I could remember what year it was. Drew Brees, it was in the Dome, and we just went down for the whole weekend, and it was one of those games. We just dominated. And so, in the hotel we stayed in, there were a lot of Cowboys fans Aaron, they were talking smack all weekend in New Orleans, we're going to kick y'all's butt, man.
Yeah.
Like, okay, okay. And we were standing out waiting on our cars to be brought up to the front. Now, they were all just standing there, and I just kind of looked over. No one saying nothing.
I'm going to read something to you. He doesn't know I'm doing this. But I'm going to read. William Bradford, the SWEPCO executive, used to be the city attorney.
Who loves the Cowboys.
He has a weekly post he does, and he's been doing it for a long time.
I haven't even checked it.
The Dallas Cowboys and Why I Hate Them. He has a special edition.
Right.
We will discuss the number 432. The total yards number will double as my pick 3 and should haunt the nightmares of Cowboys fans worldwide. If we break it down, start with the number 4. Alvin Kamara touched the end zone 4 times.
Wow.
The next number is 3, as in Dak threw 3 passes worth writing about. It just so happens 2 of the 3 were interceptions. The final number is 2. 2-0 to be precise. He is just, it is the best. He is having a ball with this. He put a video up saying, I don't care if we go 2-12. We won the game that matters.
I told Mike, we got home Sunday afternoon and Oh my gosh, Aaron, she got some steaks and put these steaks on the grill. You talk about a perfect birthday. Oh my gosh. And I told her, I said, I don't care if we lose every game rest of the season.
Yeah.
This is it.
This now, what you're apart from your wife for your birthday. Was that not a big, I mean, y'all been together how long?
40 years.
Yeah. So
no,
it was not that big a deal.
No.
Did you get home? Did she have a nice gift for you too? Or was it?
Girl, I racked up.
Did you
She
really?
ordered me a Bose soundbar for
Wow.
the TV. Oh my gosh.
Holy
and she
cow.
hates TV. So for her to do that.
Man.
Yeah. I'm telling you, and it came yesterday. It came in the mail yesterday.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I come home to a brand new Bose soundbar.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got hooked up. You got to see the Saints pound on the Cowboys with your daughter?
Live in the stadium, in their house. By the way, that is an incredible place. It's the first time I've been to AT&T Stadium.
I've never been in there. It's awesome.
It's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But, you can't go and explore. We got there. I'm telling you, we got up Sunday morning and got a shower and got dressed and ready. Mm-hmm. And I said, let's go because with a noon game, I don't want to be.
Did y'all do a shuttle thing of some sort?
I don't want to name it because
it's a nice little good secret.
It's Aaron, there's a
pub.
An Irish pub that's not far from the stadium.
Okay.
I mean, you could probably a 3-wood and hit the stadium.
Okay.
And you go there and they guide you around to parking, which is free because it's a Sunday. Mm-hmm. And you park in this parking lot, you walk back to this pub, and you pay $15 a person, and they shuttle you to the stadium, they give you a wristband, and then they bring you back after the game.
You don't necessarily have to even eat at the pub?
No. Because we got there, it was, 9:30, 10 in the morning.
Wow.
And so, because I didn't want to wait and,
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, it was flawless. It was.
They bring you right
flawless.
up to the front. Oh, that's so cool.
They bring you across the street. Mm-hmm. So you walk about a block.
Okay.
And so we had no issues with parking. We had an incredible game after the game, and we didn't leave early, by the way.
Yeah.
We enjoyed every moment because my daughter, even though she works for Jerry Jones, she bought these tickets for my birthday because she wanted these seats. We were in the visitors section.
Okay, so you were among friendly faces.
Right.
I was wondering
But there were a lot of Cowboys fans in there as well.
I was wondering about how many did you see people from Shreveport Bossier that you recognized? I wondered about that.
I did
y'all
not
run into everybody?
I did not. And that's what I was going to say because I'd never been in there. I said, we wanted to go looking around. I wanted to walk the stadium and see. But when you go in, you have to go in a certain gate because that's where your tickets are.
And you're not allowed to venture around?
And that section ends at you can't just loot the stadium.
You can't mosey.
No. I wanted to go down to the other end and check out, but you really can't do that.
Ah, okay.
So, and then when we went upstairs where we weren't in the nosebleeds at all. Our seats were amazing.
That's so cool.
So our concessions weren't 5,000 people waiting to get a 15.
Wow.
Now, I will say 2 cheeseburgers and 2 soft drinks.
You took a mortgage?
Were $60. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh, wait.
2 cheeseburgers?
And a bag of chips.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was.
Jerry likes his chips.
It was. Yeah, I was like, ooh, okay. I didn't say anything in front of my daughter because she bought these,
so you're
multi-$100 tickets.
Right. Ooh,
but if you go, it's like Disneyland.
Best cheeseburger you ever ate, huh?
Yeah. Oh.
Ay.
So, just
that's the way it works.
But I thought, my gosh, a guy trying to take his wife and 2 kids to the game. First of all, tickets, $300 to whatever.
Yeah, get a loan.
And because they do have a section where you're just standing down at the end.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much those were, but who wants to do that?
LSU has a section like that too, where you just
standing
around.
room
Yeah.
only, and it was packed.
Golly.
And the upper the nosebleeds were packed because I'm sure they were more affordable.
Cheaper. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I thought, God, this guy, you're looking at $200 just to buy, corn dogs and hamburgers for the family if you go in to eat.
God, I'm glad you had a blast.
But we had a great time, and we knew it was going to do. We knew it was going to be like that, so we just
prepare.
Yeah, just bit it and enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
Yeah. So, Grayson Butcher wrote a letter to the mayor. Mm-hmm. Very impressive. 2-3 page letter to the mayor.
He and 2 other council members.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and addressing the situation at Shreveport Police Headquarters. You can see that letter on KEELnews.com, but we're going to talk with Grayson Butcher coming up later this hour. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710KEEL.com.
Breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Oh, by the way, then we had our first rehearsal last night for
did you?
Murder on the Orient Express.
So how late were you out last
Emmett Hook
night?
Center, 1st of December. About 9.
That's not too bad.
Nah,
Okay.
not too bad. But,
The voice,
yeah.
scritchy, scratchy.
So I took yesterday off because first of all, I didn't want to drive home again after,
Right. I get it.
and spend some time with my daughter. Mm-hmm. And then,
I'm so glad you had a great time.
Say, yeah. Anyway, enough of that. All the Cowboys fans are like, "Shut up!"
No, leave it alone. I am keeping a close eye on something this week that a lot of people are watching. I think bids are expected to be opened today or tomorrow, one day this week, on the demolition of Fairgrounds Field. Mm-hmm. I think the city has budgeted, I believe it's $600,000 from most of the money from ARP funding. And if the bids come in within that amount, they're going to move forward. And the mayor told us when he was here last week, he wants to have it demolished by the time the Independence Bowl comes around in December.
Before the end of the year.
So we're going to watch for that this week and figure out, who's going to win the contract. They have to open the bids, look at them, make sure they're responsive, and have the right proper bonding and insurance and all that good stuff. Don't have a problem. It doesn't look like any longer with bats or the bat duty.
Well, the mayor told us last week the bats are gone.
Bats are gone.
And the guano situation has been rectified.
So now it's a matter of just wrecking ball, knocking it down and removing all the debris.
And at this point, as huge a fan as I am, and it needs to be done because Mayor Arsenault made a statement to us a few weeks ago that I hadn't realized. That I thought, okay. He said, even if we got another minor league team, we couldn't use that stadium. It doesn't meet the standards of professional baseball in 2024.
Nope, it doesn't have anything that they want.
We couldn't have a team here. Now, I mean, I guess you could use it for college, but it's been there for years and not been used.
Right, exactly.
So,
it would need so much work. And
unfortunately. But we're at the point it needs to be done.
Right. Now, I understand, and I don't know if the folks trying to save Fairgrounds Field either went before the Caddo Commission yesterday during their work session, or they're going later this week in kind of a last-ditch effort to try to save the stadium. But I think it's too little too late now.
Well,
the mayor said we need money. You need to show me you have money, not only to bring it back up, but you have to show me money to maintain it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I commend Friends of Fairgrounds Field for their efforts, in their heart, but you're not bringing any scratch to the table, to make this viable.
Right.
And again, we're not going to have a professional baseball team in that stadium. It doesn't meet the requirements anymore.
No, it doesn't. And we don't have baseball teams knocking on our door begging to come here.
Right.
It's just not happening. I mean, Rev Entertainment, the city did a complete study. I think we spent $100,000 on the study, and it was deemed that it was not feasible, and they were planning they had planned to bring a team here. And
but they were planning on tearing that down and building a new stadium.
Oh, a new stadium. There was going to be a whole new complex down there, but then realized it's probably not feasible based on the data in this market.
Yeah.
So
which is
they backed
unfortunate.
off. Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
Really is sad. So I'll be checking with the folks at City Hall on those bids when they come in, what they come in at, and how soon the work will start, because it takes a little time to get all the paperwork in place, make sure you've dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, and then get the wrecking ball moving, because it's I think he said it's a 60 to 90 day process. So they'll get moving on it and hopefully get it torn down by Christmas. We hope.
We'll see. Grayson Butcher going to be joining us here in a few minutes.
Another building that really needs tearing down.
It's pretty hideous. There are pictures on KEELnews.com if you want to check out the Shreveport Police Headquarters and why they need a lot of work, and they need it done pretty quickly. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.
Back with more of Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Deplorable conditions at Shreveport's police department headquarters. Looks like black mold on their AC vents in the building. That's
plastic bags over the urinals. What is going on?
Yeah, pretty bad. And they've been saying that for years. The building needs some help, and it's in the process, but they need to expedite the process, it sounds like. Grayson Butcher wrote a letter to the mayor. We'll hear from him coming up just after the break. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710KEEL.com.
Let's get back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Shreveport police officers working in very third world country conditions almost at their police headquarters needs a lot of work. There has been a bond passed to address that issue, but the Shreveport City Council member Grayson Butcher says we need to do something now. Grayson, on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline. First of all, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are y'all?
Doing well. You wrote a letter to the mayor saying even though this bond measure has been passed, over $27 million, you sum up your letter for us saying we need emergency procedures.
Yes, absolutely. And look, Mike, this has been going on for years. I took a tour of the station back in 2019 and saw the deplorable conditions they were working in there. And I can't think of a public safety committee meeting that we had when I was chairman up until the end of last year that myself or Councilwoman Taylor did not ask about the condition of the police station. Along with that, we've asked on numerous occasions to move at least like the detectives. That was one area that was in bad shape. The patrol desk was in bad shape, to move them out and find someplace else to put them. So this is not anything new, but over the last week, my emails have been full. My Facebook has been full from people that are just really, really concerned and well justified. And, every time we ask the question, when are we going to move? We're doing this, or we're waiting for this piece, or we're waiting for this piece. So I just felt like putting it more in a formal letter and getting it out there and letting people know, look, we're doing everything we can do, but the council is a little bit limited on our powers. We can't up and move the police department. That's up to the mayor and to the police chief. So I just felt like a formal letter was the way. Just put it out there, let them know that we're ready to get this done. And
your letter was signed by 3 council members, including yourself. And before anybody this is a nonpartisan issue because Tabitha Taylor signed this, as did James Green.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, over the weekend, there were some posts on Facebook, and I think it started like Thursday night, and we just started getting bombarded. All of us did, and with questions. And Councilwoman Taylor, actually, and I'm not telling her story, but I will. She had visited the police station, kind of not on a personal matter, but to meet someone up there. And she called me and she said, "Look, Councilman, this thing is horrible. It's worse than it was a year ago. We've got to do something." So that's why we came to this, this conclusion. And I don't think this is a shocker to the mayor or to the. I have not heard anything from the mayor since we sent the letter, but I have been talking to Chief Smith numerous times over the last few months about finding a police substation that we were promised for Southeast Shreveport. Or South Shreveport, I should say, not just Southeast Shreveport. We still hadn't secured the land for that or a building. And I've sent numerous buildings over to him, and it's just, it's not enough land, or it's not enough this, it's not enough that. We need to act. That's why it was so hard for me and other council members to get behind any bond initiative, because we just don't see the fruits of our labors. And now, look at what construction cost has done since 2021.
Yeah.
Are we going to even be able to build the $27.5 million station and get what we want?
Now, you're asking for an emergency declaration to be declared, and these folks moved into other buildings ASAP. Do we have spots to move them? What do we have available, and how soon could this happen?
Aaron, have you been downtown lately?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of space. If it hasn't been bought by 50 Cent.
So you just want to lease some space if you have to?
Absolutely. That's what I've been saying for the last 4 years. You follow our meetings. You follow our public safety meetings. I've said that over and over again. Let's lease some space. Have you been in the Chase building lately? It's 95% vacant. Now, is that the perfect location for the police station? Absolutely not. But could you move the detectives there? Could you move other ABO there? Could you move other things? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that Chief Smith told me in a public safety meeting, we don't want to put them downtown because we have criminals coming in going, the courthouse is downtown. I don't think that's a valid. Every person that goes to court goes to the courthouse. So we've got to start looking outside the box. And I don't quite understand why we're at this point now. But yes, there are places to move them. There may be. Look, the city of Shreveport has more real estate than Donald Trump does. So there's got to be some place we can move them.
Well, there was discussion at one point about going into the Sears location at St. Vincent Mall. That kind of fell through. LSU Health took the initiative on that.
Kudos to LSU Health that sees a good deal.
Yeah, that's exciting news.
Grayson, let me ask you this. What has the mayor's response been to the letter? Have you gotten anything back from him yet? What is he saying?
No, ma'am. I have not heard anything, and I don't believe the other two council members have either. So, no, I have not heard anything yet.
Now, we moved some SPD into the SWEPCO building, which I think we're paying $1 a year for. Do we know who moved into there? How much more room is there in there?
I've asked that question, and I believe that the only people that have been moved there, and I don't really have confirmation, so I don't like speaking of that, is the downtown unit and the mounted patrol have moved into that building. But I don't know if there's enough space there. But like I said, just take a quick ride downtown. There's plenty of real estate available in downtown Shreveport.
Grayson,
and around. Look, you got the old Hamilton Terrace School.
Yes.
The Willis Knight owns. It's totally remodeled. It's across. No, it's right on Louisiana, across from Doctor's Hospital. Mm-hmm. That building is available. And there's a school over off of Southern Avenue, Barrett Elementary, that's available that we can make a deal with the school board for. It's not perfect. It's not where we want our officers to end up, but it's a heck of a lot better than a decaying, molding building.
But if you're talking about leasing another space, where is that funding coming from?
Well, unfortunately, I believe that it would have to come from our general fund. But at this point, we've got to do something. We've promised we would find the funding. It's not something that we would like to do. Trust me, it's not. But I don't like that we're having to redo Station 20 because of mold out on Flournoy Lucas Road. But we are. That's just the price to do. When you have to put a new roof on your house, you don't like doing it, but you have to do it, right?
Good point.
Is litigation a possibility? I mean, I'm hearing from police officers that the mold has caused them health issues.
I'm hearing that too in the numerous emails and communications I got over the last couple of weeks. I don't know. I'm sure there is. I know that with Fire Station number 20, the International Association of Firefighters got very, very involved and got their attorneys involved, and I think that's what spurred the movement out of Station 20, which has been down for almost a year now. So I just think that in order, the morale at the police department's low, and I think that this really helps to hinder them from doing their job, knowing that you've got to go in there and there's no toilets at work, and it's hot in the summer, it's cold in the winter, it's moldy, it's and like you said, there are down the road health issues that we could be looking at.
City Council Member Grayson Butcher, there's 3 council members, including yourself, that signed this letter. What about the other council members? Were they asked to sign? Did you think 3 was enough? I've talked to all the council members, but this originally just started out with 2 of us, and then a third wanted to jump on, but we felt like that it needed to be done quickly. But I have talked to 2 additional council members, was not able to get in touch with the other 2, but I believe that we're all in the same boat on this, but it was just hard to get everybody's name on the letter. But I do know that this council is together on getting the police out of this building, and I know that the council will do whatever monetarily, budgetary-wise, that the police chief and the mayor wants to do. But having said that, again, the council, and I've said this over and over again on y'all's show, the council has no power to move the police department or do anything operationally. All we can do is make suggestions, and I think that's what we've done.
See the pictures of the police station right now, KEELnews.com. It's deplorable. Some of them are awful. Thank you, Grayson Butcher.
Hey, y'all have a good morning, and hopefully we can get something done on this.
You bet.
Thank you. Keep us posted.
Thank you.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.
More breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
I want to ask you something.
Okay.
If you go on vacation, you're going to take a week off and you're going to go to the beach, the mountains, wherever.
I rarely do that, but okay.
You should. You need to do that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Are you just wanting to chill? Are you wanting to go see the sights and kind of adventures and that sort of thing?
Yeah. I guess it depends on where you go and how long you have.
Okay.
Like the last vacation that I can think of was when my son lived in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And Dina got this, I don't know, Airbnb or VRBO or whatever it was. And we didn't have a lot of time. It wasn't like we were there for 2 weeks or even a week. We were there for like an extended weekend kind of thing. So there wasn't time to go do the whale watching and learn how to surf and to
glass bottom
skydive and all that crap. Mm-hmm. So I enjoyed very much my time on this beautiful extended front porch that we had. Fans going,
chilling.
just chilling.
There's new data out that now shows more and more Americans want adventures. When they take a vacation, 54% of travelers say they're looking for a wildlife getaway.
Okay, now my question is, what is the average age of the participant in this study?
Good question. I don't know the age, but a wildlife getaway, like to go see the elephants in Africa or go to, wild rescue places.
Now, I'm not opposed to that, and I think that would be fine. I think people need to change their attitude when they encounter wildlife these days and don't think you're going to go up to a gator and get a selfie.
Or what was that we were watching last week with the buffalo or whatever, where people were walking up to the buffalo and then realizing they're turning on you?
Well, yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Buffalo, yeah. Or the lady
bison.
the lady that picked up the baby bear cub.
Unbelievable.
to get a selfie and picked up a wild baby bear cub to take a picture. And the mother was nearby.
Yeah.
And you made the point that mother will not have anything to do with that baby now because it's got human scent on it.
Right. They had to send that bear to a rescue. And 50% also say
social media
during their vacations they want some sort of escape or adventure. Like to go do something adventurous, like go swim under a waterfall or
just
do
go
rafting or something.
Well, just go drive through downtown Chicago. There you go. There's your adventure.
So bad.
Or Detroit.
About
a
Detroit. About a third of them are with me. They just want peace and tranquility.
That's what we were talking. We were talking a while back about a cruise. You were, and I thought, I see these commercials of these cruise ships, and my gosh, you talk about sensory overload. Ferris wheels and water slides and dances and,
So much.
and I'm like, no.
But you know what? On a cruise, you can make it what you want. You can sit on a deck chair.
You can't tell me you don't hear that crap going on, even if you're trying to
find a spot. Look, I can go up to the adult only area. I can find a lounge chair.
That's what I would want to do.
Oh, and
I would want to just take my Kindle, sit out and looking out over the ocean.
Yep.
Enjoying the quiet, maybe hopefully see a whale or something.
Yep, and you can do it on a cruise, but I don't want to go running and gunning and whitewater rafting. And maybe in my younger days I did.
Again, I'm curious to know the average age of the person in this participant.
It's a good
survey.
question, yeah.
Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 17. .107 FM 710 Keel, Mike and McCarty. Last week we were talking about movies, like movie quotes.
Yes.
And I came across an article that said, Ruben, I thought about you, most overrated movies of all time.
Ooh.
Most overrated movies. And I got to thinking, of course, you want to see the list, and the list is like 25.
Okay.
But let me just I won't obviously list all of these movies, but there is Elf.
Yeah.
Really?
I have a new appreciation for Elf. I was not a fan at first. And I got in a lot of trouble with some of my friend group because they love it.
Right.
And worship it. And so I looked at it in a new way, and I appreciate it now. I kind of like Elf, believe it or not. And I'm not a Will Ferrell fan.
For a newer holiday movie, it's not bad, but I don't think it's the end all be all holiday movie. Like
now, see, you said what I was thinking. A newer holiday. Do you realize that movie's over 20 years old?
Oh no! Don't tell me that.
Wow.
Oh,
exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and then going back to Gone with the Wind, overrated movie, according to this list.
I don't know about that one. That's a classic.
Exactly.
That's a classic movie.
Okay. Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, please.
Number 2 on the list.
Who is the idiot that wrote this list?
Thank you.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, you got that wrong.
There's very few. Well, I don't flip channels, but if
that's on, I'm watching.
I'm watching it. I don't care where it is in the movie.
And there's a lot of people
I'm
like
watching
that.
It.
The Notebook's the same way. If it's on, I'm going to watch it. I know a lot of people will think it's overrated, but I'm watching it. If it's on, I'm watching it.
Right. I'm not going to belittle you.
Same with Shawshank.
Okay. The Breakfast Club.
I might go with that one.
But you have to remember when that movie was made and who it spoke to at the time.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie wasn't it was for a specific age group, really.
It was. It was a targeted group. Yeah.
Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah, I can
see. I don't agree with that.
So there's just a lot of how do I put this? It was his first ever movie that he ever wrote, Matt Damon, but there were a lot of writing flaws in it that some more snooty movie people could see as,
But Robin Williams'
his performance is insane. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch and pay attention, the scene where he's sitting on the bench and he's talking to the Matt Damon character, if you watch, that entire monologue is one long take.
Yep. Yes,
it
is
a single take.
Wow.
The camera slowly moves. If there's a cut, it was done so superbly in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, that was one, and it's done in theater all the time. But for filmmaking,
I like that movie a lot. It was.
Oh.
I know I don't watch it if it's on. I mean, I'll watch it in a rare moment, but yeah, I like the movie.
Well, yeah.
A lot.
I mean, okay, what about The Birds?
Not a fan.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Not a fan.
Really?
Not a big fan of that. No.
A lot of, people, people worship Alfred Hitchcock as just the master of horror, but really a lot of those movies miss the mark. They really did. And it's not a matter of standing up to the test of time or whatever. That it was, some of them weren't as good as horror movies that were out by other people at the time. They just weren't. And The Birds is definitely one of those. The Birds was kind of ridiculous.
That movie jacked me up, though, when I was a kid.
When you see it when you're a kid.
That movie jacked me up.
Well, it's like Return of the Living Dead. I saw that on TV as a child, and it scared me.
Oh, my gosh.
It scared me to
Where
death.
were your parents?
Asleep, like I should have been. And that movie scared me to death. And then I watched it as an adult, and it's the most ridiculous movie on earth.
The movie that messed with me the worst was Carrie.
Ooh,
I watched it as a teenager, so I was prom time and all
Yeah.
that. It scared the living jabibas out of me. It really did.
Right.
I couldn't take it.
And
Now, the movie that jacked me up most as a kid, Legend of Boggy Creek.
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
I couldn't go into the woods after that for years.
Well, we all know the movie that did change my life forever. Ruben knows.
Do I? Wait. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Jaws.
Jaws. Well, yeah.
Changed my life forever.
Right. I can see that.
I used to be out in the water all the time.
To this day, you don't not think about it.
To my knees is as deep as I go now.
Well,
man.
And we just have a picture of Crystal on the beach in Florida this summer. And unknowing to her, there's a shark 10 feet from her.
She could have thrown a rock and hit it.
She's just above her knees.
Oh.
She's just above her knees. She's not in deep water.
They can still get you in waist deep water.
Is Gladiator on the list? Because
It is on the list.
The most
Good,
overrated
good.
movie of all
think
time.
so?
That's the linchpin for overrated movies for me.
Horrible.
Are you not entertained?
That movie's like Caddyshack. Caddyshack was a hilarious movie.
Yep.
It was funny,
Yep.
but it was a terrible movie.
Okay.
As a movie,
Right, yeah.
It was it was shot
Cheesy,
horribly.
yeah.
There were holes.
They were all drunk and stoned.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody,
Yeah.
cast and crew alike.
It was a
They
huge party.
trashed the hotel.
Oh, I would have loved to have been a cast or crew member in that
Right.
movie, but the movie was terrible.
I'm going to get in trouble
Notebook.
for this.
The Notebook.
I love The Notebook.
Overrated.
I'm going to get in
according to
trouble
this
for this because people love these movies and I hate them. Mission Impossible. Cannot stand them.
Well, see,
it's all just one stunt
Right.
to make Tom Cruise feel like he's got
Exactly.
he's a big boy.
I honestly,
It's
I
stupid.
can't watch them. I can't watch them.
It's the stupidest. Why people spend millions and millions
I
going to
don't
these
get it.
stupid movies?
I put the Mission Impossible movies in the same category as the Fast and the Furious movies.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah. Waste of money.
action. no substance.
Waste of millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Well, obviously not, because they're making them back.
Yeah, he makes them back to back, and people go see them.
God, is he 100 years old now? When is he going to stop this?
Yeah.
Oh, apparently not anytime
Somebody
soon.
texted us that said The Shining is an overrated movie.
I
It's kind of scary.
I can see from
Not on the list.
from certain perspectives how it could be, but you have to really get into the mind of Stanley Kubrick, which is a hard thing to do, I'll admit.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Clockwork Orange. Are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
What did you say you watched? You watched The Deliverance? Is that a new one?
That's what I was going to ask you about. The Deliverance.
Deliverance.
Now, my first reaction was, wait, they remade Deliverance?
Yeah.
Why?
No.
Why would you do that?
Of all movies to remake. And no, this is not a remake of The Deliverance. It's sort of a dramatic retelling of a story that landed in a magazine a long time ago about a house that was evil. But it turns out, I mean, years ago they debunked it and it was all BS. Even those dude bro ghost hunters went to the house that it was based off of and made this huge deal about it. And it was, oh my God, what was that noise? Every time they heard it.
And it was nothing.
It was nothing.
Right.
It was nothing.
Do you want that hour and a half back of your life?
Yes, I was thinking, I was like, okay, maybe they'll do the story a little bit of justice and ham it up, but they went overboard and it was too much.
Don't waste your time.
There are movies, just don't redo. You don't need
Right.
to. You can watch the original holds up. As much as I love Steve Martin, why would you redo Pink Panther?
Or
when
The
you
Jerk?
you have Peter Sellers and you're never going to come close.
Yes.
Because you're going to be compared.
That's true. Yeah,
And you're not going, I don't care. As much as I love Steve Martin, no, that was a bad mistake.
Bad mistake.
And they
You're
did
right.
it twice.
Oh, bad idea. Oh, well. What's on your list? Let us know.
Number one, real quick, Joker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't disagree with that
I
at
think Gladiator should be
all.
tops, though. Gladiator should be number one.
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree with you.
Yeah, hit us up on the Shreveport Security Systems message board. Your number one overrated movie. Just kind of curious. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Back to the big stories of the day with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
You know, it sounds like pandering when I say we've got great listeners. We've got the greatest listeners. You guys are great. You know what I mean? No, but guys that do that at a concert. I mean, you guys are great. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yeah.
You just really hear applause. That's not the case. Aaron, I've been in radio 40 years.
I know.
And
they're
to
awesome.
be here I'll say it again, to be here in this chair today, it's such an honor. And I'm so proud and honored to be here. And I'm reminded every day of the people that are listening. But we did get some responses on the Shreveport Security Systems message board. John says, The Exorcist, talking about overrated movies. And then we got to talking about movies that scared us and affected us.
Oh, yeah.
As a kid. And for me, it was Legend of Boggy Creek. And you go back and watch that. And yeah, Ruben's laughing. You go back and watch that today. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
This is one of the, I'm sorry, Charles B. Pierce's family, but this is one of the worst done movies.
It was on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Was it?
It was, yeah. It was featured.
And they were
prominently.
laughing or whatever?
Yeah, it's one of their classic episodes.
Yeah.
Jaws completely changed my life.
Right.
Upended my world. And still to this day.
But see, that's understandable. I mean, that's understandable.
Even when you look at it and you see the rubber sharks. You can tell they're rubber sharks now when you look at the movie.
Well, you can now because you've seen so many behind-the-scenes footage.
I know, but
You didn't at the time.
knee deep's all I'm going, baby.
Bruce, the mechanical shark and the nightmares they had with that.
Because look at me. This would be like gourmet buffet for a shark.
Smorgasbord.
Absolutely. Head to toe, they'd be chowing down.
Brian said Fight Club is way overrated for me. Mm-hmm. Never saw it.
Yep.
I liked it when I was younger, but I tried giving it a rewatch, and it's a bunch of just macho BS. It doesn't make any sense.
This one kind of disturbs me. The Exorcist scared me as a kid so bad that I slept with a Bible under my pillow for 2 months. Why are you watching The Exorcist as a kid? Me wants to know.
Right. That's why I'm wondering why is he watching Night of the Living Dead for crying out loud?
I snuck to. I stayed awake and waited for my parents to go to sleep so that I could watch it. I was excited about watching it, and then it scared me so bad I couldn't sleep for days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not the best decision making. So
what was the one, Mike Myers? Those scared
Halloween
me
movies,
too.
yeah.
Because I was babysitting at the time, and I couldn't babysit after that. I was like, I can't babysit alone.
Okay, so
with these children.
So that's not Friday the 13th, right?
No.
Whichever one was
Halloween,
the babysitter movie.
Halloween is Mike Myers with the white William Shatner face.
Oh.
Right.
And Friday the 13th is Hockey Mask, Jason.
Okay, Hockey Mask is number 6 on the list of overrated movies. Friday the 13th.
Whichever one was
Did
the
I say Hockey
babysitter
Mask?
was in charge. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
that's
babysitter.
Halloween. Yeah.
Oh, scary.
And if you watch that today, there's no blood or gore in that movie.
Not really.
It's
Not
all
much.
tension. Mm-hmm. And who directed that? I'm blank.
Halloween?
Carpenter.
Yeah, John Carpenter.
John Carpenter. When they first screened, I know we're against the clock. When they first screened it, they didn't have the dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
He composed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Carpenter did the music.
Wow.
And they screened it with the music, and people crapped their pants.
It worked.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Oh, boy.
Well, it's time for news. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Back with more of Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
By the way, I missed the fascinating interview with Dr. Guzik. I was gone yesterday. Mm-hmm. I wanted to kind of go over that because I missed it after the break.
Yes, we'll talk more about that.
I think that's fascinating. I think that's really good news.
It absolutely is, and we will definitely go over that. I'm interested in this cool story. I'm stunned. This story out of Ohio. You may have heard it in my newscast, perhaps not. This child goes on a joyride in the family's SUV.
Okay.
And she drove for about 13 miles from her home. And
how old is she?
Hang on.
Okay, that's what. Okay.
When the police finally found her, she said, "I only hit a mailbox. That's the only thing I hit." 8.
How did she reach?
How? She drove 13 miles. How? And all she hit was a mailbox.
Right.
Oh, man. Damaged the vehicle a little bit, but I'm going to wear her behind out when she gets home.
Well, you think?
Oh, my goodness.
Now, I will say my daughter was almost 6 feet tall when she was, 12. Mm-hmm. And so we taught her how to drive at a very young age.
Really?
Yeah. We lived semi out of the city limits over in Bossier, out Swan Lake Road. And so it wasn't like it is today at all.
Yeah.
And so she was very comfortable driving at a very young age, but not 8 years old.
She's not jumping in the vehicle and swiping it and driving off.
No, she never did that.
Oh, man. 8 years old. That's incredible. Incredible.
I want to know the logistics of that, though.
Oh, yeah, you got a point.
How is that even possible?
I don't know. I don't know how she reached
And you
the
said
pedals.
it was an SUV, so it's not like it was a small car.
It's
that
not
she
a little
could,
Fiat. No,
Right.
It's a big SUV, and she drove off in it. 13 miles. She clipped somebody's mailbox, and after that, she got the hang of it, I guess. Probably, I don't know.
I hope they tanned her hide.
Oh, yeah.
As they used to say back in the day.
Yeah.
Tan your hide.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool news about St. Vincent Mall.
Yes.
I would have to think mall officials would be over the moon with this, and I know you covered it while I was gone, but I want to go. I wasn't here.
We'll go over that.
Yeah, I want to kind of talk about that a little bit. We'll do that after the break. 101.7 FM, 710keel.com.
Let's get back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
Now, I know this doesn't apply to our listeners. Again, not pandering, just saying if you're listening to this show, you want to be informed.
Yes.
In some fashion, especially about local politics and events, not just politics.
Absolutely.
It's this with St. Vincent Mall, because, and I don't understand still to this day why the mall concept is a dying a dying concept, if you will. Because it makes so much sense to me, the mall concept.
People don't want to mosey anymore. The days of moseying are gone. People don't want to go in a mall and wander around and look at the stores.
You park once, and then you go get all your shopping done, and then you leave.
You want to pull up to the store you want to go in.
Well, I know you're right. I just don't understand that.
You want to pull up to Old Navy, or you want to pull up to Target, and you want to go in and get your stuff and come back out. You don't want to walk around the mall.
But then you go, I got to get shoes, or I got to go someplace else. To me, the mall concept is a brilliant idea.
I thought it was the same. I still think it's a pretty good idea, but it's not working. It's failing in places all over the country. But we have a new program coming. LSU Health is going to take over the Sears building at Mall St. Vincent.
Right.
The Health Foundation is buying the property, and then we'll lease it back to LSU Health, and they're going to put clinics there and researchers there. And Dr. Guzik told us yesterday, hundreds and hundreds of jobs.
Yes.
And when we're talking about medical researchers and their staffs, we're talking about high dollar salaries.
Yes.
We're talking about people making a good living, can buy homes. And he said we're not just moving people from one location to another.
Right.
These are new people.
I heard some of that. Yes.
New people coming to town.
That's the whole point of taking over that facility, because they're out of space at their existing campus.
And I kind of likened it to, you remember the Portico Shopping Center? Much of that is now Willis Knighton doctor's offices.
That's true.
Now.
Yes.
And I said, is that going to kind of be, are you taking over the whole mall? And he said, not the plan. The plan is we're going to take the Sears building, all three levels of it. It's got the escalators and all that. And then he said, but what the hope is, and the mayor was at the groundbreaking, what the hope is that it will generate new businesses to come into the mall. Because he said we're going to need coffee shops. These employees are going to need places to go for lunch. They may want to go, shop from time to time.
Sure.
They may, on their lunch break, they may want to go buy things. So he said we're hoping that it can give that mall a little bit of new life as they take over that one anchor side of the mall. So it really is exciting for the mall. And hoping,
and those are high dollar jobs too.
Big time.
Yeah.
And, it is going to take a little time, to renovate the property like they need it and get it, for medical offices. But for the most part, that Sears building, they haven't let it deteriorate. It's in pretty good shape. So that's a good thing. So they'll have to come in and make it medical facilities.
Right, sure.
And I'm not sure if they're going to use one level for research and one level for clinics or whatever.
I think he said the clinics will be like the mall entrance, and that will be clinic entrance, and then the research will be up.
Okay. Well, I missed that then. That's awesome. I'm excited about that. It's going to be, I think, really big for Mall St. Vincent. I think it could be a game changer for that mall. And who knows? That might be a new concept these days. Put a big medical facility on one end, and then you build it and they will come. We shall see.
Dillard's has hung on, man. Dillard's has hung on for years. That's about the only name brand retailer there anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Piccadilly.
Yeah, Piccadilly's still in there.
No, yeah.
Is that the only one in town now?
I think so.
Yeah.
They need some work in that building, though.
Do they?
Oh, they need some work in that building. I heard they were Piccadilly Nationwide was going to redo all theirs. So I'm hoping they'll, know.
I hope so, too.
When
we come back, I want to talk to you the latest about the school superintendent when we get back.
Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel.
more breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Gosh, you miss a day, you miss a lot. 710 KEEL. Remember that? Yeah.
Miss an hour, miss a lot. Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Because this Caddo Parish School board superintendent search has had its share of problems. And a lawsuit, you said that's going to be heard today, the lawsuit now?
Yes, I believe the court hearing on that is today. I'm not sure how soon the judge, I believe it's Judge O'Callahan, I'm not sure how soon the judge will rule whether or not the lawsuit has merit. I know he ruled last week that he was not going to issue a temporary restraining order to try to stop the interview of Keith Burton. So the interview went forward. Now, once the lawsuit is settled, things are now back in the school board's court, and they have to decide, do they move forward with hiring Keith Burton and negotiating a contract, or are they going to come back and try to open the interview process up and interview other candidates? They were kind of deadlocked on that last week on a 6-6 vote, so I don't think the board will probably support bringing in any more candidates. And I know Jasmine Green told us that a couple of them have already withdrawn their names. Said, don't want in that sandbox anymore. So it looks like we will probably be moving forward with Keith Burton, and I would assume they'll reach a contract settlement with him as soon as possible after this lawsuit is settled, and then move forward. Now, if the school board should lose in this lawsuit fight and the judge finds some merit, I don't know what happens then. I'm not sure. Do they have to restart the process? What could this judge rule? Yeah. How wide could he rule? I have no clue. No clue.
We need to move forward. And I say that because of the vote by the school board members when they voted on they graded all the candidates. That in itself should tell people this is the best man for the job, even out of the 6 that were presented.
Right.
Scored twice as high as the second candidate.
Yes, absolutely. And
that's with people intentionally not voting for Keith Burton.
Giving zeros. And, I find that interesting because Dr. Vincent, and I hope he will call me or get in touch, because he gave zeros to everyone. On the sheet that was released, he gave zeros to everyone. He claimed during the meeting last week that that's not how he scored it, and that was not how he wrote things down.
Really?
That's what he said. He made mention that that's not how he scored things, and he needed that corrected. But I haven't seen that. Somebody text me if I heard that wrong. I thought I heard him say that those weren't his scores, and that's not how he did it. So I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting.
And if that's the case, then did we have a flaw in that process? And
how did that happen?
And how'd that get released that he scored everybody with zeros? I don't know. Or did he turn in the wrong sheet or something? I'm not sure how that happened, but I was curious about that. When I saw that he gave Keith Burton a 0, and I thought, that's a little sketchy. And then I saw that he gave everybody a 0, and I thought, what's he doing? Why is he doing that? Does he not like any of them? And then when I heard him say at the meeting that that's not how he scored them, I thought, well, something's up.
Yeah.
Something's up with this.
Oh,
What's
that
going
is
on?
interesting.
So, I don't know. I would love to find out what really happened, how that happened. So
well,
anyway,
if anybody can, it's you.
Yeah, I'll
get on it.
I'll dig some dirt.
We'll find out. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.